Ever wondered why, in a world so interconnected, loneliness still lingers like an uninvited guest in our lives? It's a paradox, isn't it? How we can be surrounded by people, virtually and physically, and yet feel so alone. This paradox of loneliness is not just an enigma, it's a reality for many of us. You see, we live in an era where we're more connected than ever before. Our digital world allows us to reach out and touch someone's life from thousands of miles away. Yet this same connection often feels impersonal, lacking the warmth of a human touch, the comfort of a shared silence, the joy of a shared laugh. Loneliness, my friends, is pervasive. It's not about the number of friends you have on social media or how many parties you attend. It's about the quality of your connections, the resonance of your interactions. Understanding and addressing this loneliness is not just important, it's vital for our mental health. If you've ever felt alone in a crowd, this video is for you. Loneliness isn't about being alone, it's about feeling alone. Let's unpack that for a moment. See, there's a world of difference between solitude and loneliness. Solitude is a state of being alone without feeling lonely. It's about enjoying your own company, finding peace in the quiet, and embracing the freedom that comes from being on your own. It's about being okay with the silence, finding contentment within oneself, and not needing external validation. On the other hand, loneliness is a deeply personal, subjective feeling of isolation. It's not necessarily about how many friends you have or how often you go out. It's about feeling disconnected, feeling like you're on the outside looking in, feeling like there's this vast chasm between you and the rest of the world. It's about feeling unseen, unheard, unloved. And here's an important truth. Loneliness doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone at any age from any walk of life. It doesn't matter if you're a high school student who feels like they don't fit in, a middle-aged professional who spends all day in a bustling office yet feels utterly alone, or an elderly person whose friends and loved ones have passed on. It doesn't matter if you're single or in a relationship, introverted or extroverted, wealthy or struggling to make ends meet. Loneliness can sneak up on you, creep into your heart, and make itself at home. But here's the good news. Just as loneliness can sneak in, it can also be shown the door. Why? Because loneliness is a feeling, not a fact. And feelings, as intense and overwhelming as they might be, are not permanent. They're like weather patterns in the sky of our minds. They come, they go, they change. So if you're feeling lonely, remember this. You're not alone in your loneliness. And this feeling, as real and painful as it might be right now, is not a life sentence. It can change. It will change. Remember, loneliness is a feeling, not a fact. And feelings can change. Now that we understand loneliness better, how can we combat it effectively? The answer lies in a blend of practical strategies and a shift in mindset. Firstly, let's talk about fostering genuine connections. It's crucial to remember that it's not about having a large number of friends, but about the quality of the relationships. Engaging conversations, shared interests, and mutual respect form the bedrock of any meaningful relationship. So take the time to nurture these relationships. Cultivate empathy and understanding, as these are the cornerstones of a solid, fulfilling connection. Next up, let's consider the power of reaching out to others. It's natural to feel like withdrawing from the world when you're lonely, but this is exactly when you should do the opposite. Reach out to a friend, a family member, or even a professional if you're feeling isolated. It's important to remember that it's okay to ask for help. You're not alone in your feelings, and there are people out there who genuinely want to help. Participating in community activities is another excellent way to combat loneliness. These activities provide a sense of belonging and purpose, and they also present opportunities to meet new people. Try joining a club, attending a local event, or volunteering for a cause that's close to your heart. You'll be surprised at how these shared experiences can foster a sense of community and reduce feelings of loneliness. Finally, remember to be patient with yourself. Change takes time, and it's okay to take small steps towards overcoming loneliness. It's not a race, and there's no need to compare your progress with anyone else's. The important thing is that you're making an effort. Taking the first step might be challenging, but remember, every journey begins with a single step. So, take that first step today and start your journey towards mastering loneliness. It may seem daunting, but with perseverance and the right strategies, you'll soon find that you're not alone in this battle. And that's a comforting thought, isn't it? Let's continue our exploration of practical strategies to combat loneliness. We'll dive into a second set of tactics now, which revolves around personal growth and self-care. Engaging in hobbies and interests is a fantastic way to combat feelings of loneliness. It's not just about distraction, but also self-fulfillment. As you dive deeper into your passions, you'll discover new aspects of yourself, and in doing so, create a stronger sense of self-identity. This can help alleviate feelings of loneliness as you're essentially spending quality time with yourself. Now let's take a moment to talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, aware of where we are and what we're doing, and not being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's happening around us. This practice can help us understand our feelings of loneliness better, and in turn, allow us to manage them more effectively. But remember, it's okay to ask for help. Seeking professional assistance, such as therapy or counseling, can be incredibly beneficial. Professionals can provide strategies and tools tailored specifically to your situation, helping you navigate through your feelings of loneliness. It's not a sign of weakness, but rather a step towards self-improvement. Finally, let's shine a spotlight on self-care and self-love. In the hustle and bustle of life, we often forget to take care of ourselves, both physically and emotionally. Regular self-care routines, whether it's a relaxing bath, a leisurely walk, or even a favorite meal, can work wonders for your mental health. Loving oneself is also vital. It's about accepting who you are, warts and all, and acknowledging that it's okay to feel lonely sometimes. Remember, it's a journey. The road to mastering loneliness isn't always smooth, but it's a path that leads to a deeper understanding of oneself. You're not alone in your fight against loneliness. Help is always available. So, what have we learned about mastering loneliness? Well, we've delved deep into understanding the paradox of loneliness, a phenomenon that, despite its pervasiveness, often leaves us feeling uniquely isolated. We've grappled with the reality that loneliness isn't just about being physically alone, but rather it's a state of mind, a feeling of disconnection or discontent with the relationships we have or the lack thereof. We've acknowledged that loneliness is a universal human experience, something that can touch anyone at any point in their life. It's not selective, it doesn't discriminate, it can creep on us unnoticed. But most importantly, we've learned that feeling lonely isn't a personal failure or something to be ashamed of. We then ventured into the practical realm, exploring strategies to combat loneliness. We've seen how simple actions like reaching out to a friend, joining a club or a group with shared interests, or volunteering for a cause close to your heart can help to alleviate feelings of loneliness. These actions help to reaffirm our connection with the world around us and remind us of our worth. We've also looked at the role of self-care in managing loneliness. Engaging in activities that bring joy, practicing mindfulness, and staying physically active are all ways to not just distract us from our loneliness, but to help us build a stronger relationship with ourselves. But perhaps the most vital point we've discussed is the importance of seeking help when necessary. It's crucial to remember that it's okay to reach out to professionals if loneliness becomes overwhelming. There's no shame in asking for help, and doing so is a testament to your strength, not a sign of weakness. Mastering loneliness isn't about never feeling alone. It's about knowing that you're never truly alone, and that you have the power to change your feelings. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. You're stronger than you think,